What up? This is your boy DoBoy.
I'm Patrick Cloud.
And you are now watching The Internet is Undefeated, a podcast from the squad. You already know what it is.
The Internet's Undefeated with DoBoy and Patrick Cloud. Podcast 101.
Bing, 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 bing.
So let me explain. I feel like every good podcast or radio show has a musical intro.
They do. You want me to rap it?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's not a matter of if it was good or not. The point is that I put something up on the board.
Okay, right.
We could leave it to the fans to judge.
Okay. All right.
I think I'm gonna pitch a different musical intro every episode.
I'm down with it.
Okay.
You are musical.
I'm just gonna go for it, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
I doubt I'm gonna like it, but you should just throw them up there.
Okay.
And every now and again, I'll throw one too.
So welcome to The Internet is Undefeated, guys. This is a weekly trending podcast. We're going to be talking about what's on the timeline.
Yeah.
And just some stuff that's on our mind. Like, do mermaids exist?
I really want to talk
just
about
stuff like that.
We can scrape everything and really talk about that, but I know they want to hear about pop culture. And
the real stuff.
Yeah.
So what's first on the timeline, man?
A lot going on.
I think the main thing that's going on in the news right now is this whole surviving R.Kelly debacle.
Whoa.
I hate everything about this. You know what the weirdest thing about this is that this isn't something new.
No.
We just keep getting like new information about it every 4 years. And we get shocked and then we forget about it.
But
it's the worst.
I'm starting to come to the conclusion it must be something wrong with us as a society and a culture.
Society. It's absolutely what's wrong.
There's got to be something wrong, because why in the entire fuck are we supporting somebody that we know is a monster that has done terrible things?
Been known. He dated Aaliyah. Yeah. She was like in daycare. Like you can't be picking up your girl.
You can't.
From middle school in a car.
You can't.
He had full R.Kelly braids at the time.
He did. And it's like it made me feel worse in watching it. Like, how have I been sitting here just not hating this nigga?
I have.
Have you though?
Oh my God, yes. I've never been an R. Kelly fan.
Really?
Chocolate Factory?
Okay, I'm not.
I've had sex without it.
Now, I'm not gonna take away from his music. His music is fucking, and that's the reason.
I don't care about that either. That's the thing.
But see, this is where I fall, and I know this is a sensitive topic, so we are treading lightly because we are comedians and we always say things. We ain't trying to say the wrong things. But what I'm saying is this: it becomes hard for me as a consumer of content to be able to push it in different
separate them
and compartmentalize it. Be like, I hate this. You know what I mean? Because I grew up on R. Kelly's music. Really, TP2.com was my go-to sex disc for like a long, like even like.
So you dusted it off like what, twice a year? Finally.
Yeah, I got the soundtrack. That's the shit. So it's like, and he's really fucking good in music. Now you might not be a fan of him, but you can't tell me if we're just talking just music, he ain't good. He got the goods.
He can sing.
He can produce. He can write. He can arrange. Well, he can't write because apparently he can't read.
Yeah, it was.
Side note, the funniest part about, there was no funny parts on this thing, but the funny part about it was when they were talking about the fact that he couldn't read, he was like, his team he'd be like, hey man, what did they write about me? They're like, oh man, they're saying you're great, you're killing it out here. They were like, you dated all, like they were just talking so much shit.
I think it was in the booth with a Rosetta Stone.
That's just crazy. So the fact that he couldn't read, but this is the thing that bothers me mostly about this. He did not act alone. And what I mean by that is he had a whole team of people that was helping him.
The homies.
Yeah, and that's just like, God.
It was way worse than I thought. Because, like, hearing that somebody has a sex cult, you automatically think of a lot of things.
Right.
But it's weird that the truth was worse than what I thought. Like,
it was
they were locked in there.
With buckets.
And R. Kelly is one nigga. He's one person. And there was like, what? How many girls was there?
A lot.
He had help. Let's talk about that.
He had help, and people knew about this. So it wasn't like it was just him in a dark, secluded closet.
And that's the scary thing, is because we shine the flashlight on him.
Right.
But the real problem is what you're saying is like around him. Obviously, he's a problem, but it's like the environment that it's in, the industry, all the executives that probably knew about this at the label on an official level, not just the homies. Like, this was probably known about on an official level, and I think that's why it's it was just like, it's like, is this the industry that we trying to get into? Like, this is wild.
But I don't fucking understand things like this shit just happened and his music spiked.
How in the fuck? Worst. That is the worst part, because it's like what they're doing is horrible and stuff like that, but how we react to it is the scary part. Because you think this documentary dropped, and then it's like he's in jail. Like you think that he's over. This should kill a career, but he is
more popular somehow.
And that's not even the first time. Last year, like when Spotify did all that stuff about like domestic abusers, like all those dudes were still getting spins.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of sometimes like when stuff will happen, like say the Trayvon Martin thing, and when whatever the guy's name was that killed Trayvon Martin, and then he'll do like a GoFundMe and then like raise like $1 million. Like it's almost like people. I think this technology and this day that we live in, they can hide behind the identity of a computer and support bad people, monsters.
Yeah. You saw that the Trump wall raised hella money on GoFundMe. They were just like, help build the wall, and like there were people donating like $50K. Can you imagine being that racist?
It's $50,000. Keep their asses.
$50,000 worth of racism?
Yeah, that's just. But this is the thing that I think is so unfortunate about this entire situation. Even when like the victims were recounting their stories, like it was hard for them to talk about the stuff that they were willing to talk about. Just think about whatever they're not, the things that they were uncomfortable talking about.
And now think about how many people are going to be more uncomfortable talking about this once they see a whole celebrity exposed on a docu-series. This was a 6-parter.
A 6?
That means you could have missed the first 2 and still saw some horrible shit. Jesus. And you see all that and see that he's still getting support and people are still defending him.
And just some of the facts in it was so crazy. Like one of the girls that he ended up recruiting was at his trial. Like she was going to his trial every day, and she was like, "Hey, okay." Then he's seen her like, "Oh yeah, I seen you supporting me. Come over to the house." And I don't like it was.
All right, well, you said tread lightly, so automatically I'm gonna have to go against that.
That's what he did. That wasn't me.
Well, no. I'm just gonna have to go against it. I have to ask the question because this is what everybody is dancing around.
Okay.
They're saying that these women. They're saying one of two things. They're saying either they were grown and it was their decision,
right?
Or they were young and they didn't know what they were doing.
Okay.
So it's like, is this what is this saying about? Obviously, R.Kelly is in the wrong.
Right.
Obviously,
we know that.
But it's like, what accountability goes to the girls? What accountability goes to their parents? You know what I mean? Like, because I did hear some crazy stuff. It's like, you have to protect your child. Like, there is some fault on the parents.
Okay, and there is. And let's talk about it. And I can talk about this with a different vantage point than yourself. I have a 13-year-old daughter. Shout out Kiara Janae. The thing that I've learned as a parent is that you can try to parent your kids the most perfect way. You can try to be. At the end of the day, you can't be there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, does that mean that they can just go out and have a free-for-all and do whatever? No, but at the same time, they're not little robots, like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know that even if, because I mean, especially when kids are teenagers, like we've been teenagers before, like teenagers lie. They lie about where they're going. They get their friends to help them. Like, I don't know that we can just look at the parents and say, you knew this was happening and you let it happen. I mean, what parent would do that? Like, you see what I'm saying? So it's a very difficult thing because I think about that, like, just as a father, like, what would I do? Because there was parts in the story where, like, the girl was just there, and then the father was trying to go and get his daughter. They couldn't get their daughter back. So I put myself in that position, like, what would I do? Like,
yeah.
I would just be like, everybody got to get shot. Like, that's just where my head would go. 'Cause
it's
like,
wild that there was not at least one scenario. You'd think if your kids was in harm, there'd be like one thing, like something happened at the R.Kelly. You know what I mean? But we didn't hear nothing.
But see, that's another thing that was tough for me to watch. Like, and I don't ever want to blame a parent. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it was tough to watch those parents sitting up there. It's like, you took your child to work with him after these allegations were out.
That's what I'm saying.
It ain't like you did this in 99. Like, people was doing this like in 08.
This nigga wasn't even doing it in secret. This nigga called himself the Pied Piper.
They were talking about that.
Who lured children away from their families into the dark forest.
There's a theory about that with monsters, and now they do this thing called hiding out in the open. I think they illustrated it on the thing where they'll do stuff. They know that they're doing it, but they're so fucked up in their heads, they'll do little shit to give you clues like, They get off on the fact that, I tricked all you motherfuckers.
Right.
Like,
That's why serial killers be leaving calling cards and shit.
Yeah, that's they said they take like trophies and different things. This was the thing. And tell me if this is an unpopular thing. I can have hatred for R. Kelly for the things that he is accused of. I can be like, I despise everything about you. You're a terrible person. I can also have empathy for R. Kelly when he opened up and said he himself was sexually assaulted as a child.
I don't care about that at
all. I'm not playing them like you did this and saying
this
it's okay.
This is why I do this to other people.
I'm not. No, I didn't say that. See,
no. I'm not saying you said that.
Okay, I'm just saying that I have empathy for him for what he went through. I still hate everything that he's done, and I don't think that they're connected, but I still have empathy for him.
Is it unfortunate that happened to him? Absolutely. Does that mean that he should pass off his scars to a million? I'm not saying you said that. I'm just saying that.
I want to make sure.
That.
Didn't say that. I did not say that.
I'm just saying I'm a monster because a monster monstered me.
No. I'm not in that.
But no. But I mean, that's the thing with this.
Right.
People do say that. Well, he was, but it's like, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's like, fuck R. Kelly. I don't really got much else to say. Fuck that nigga.
Fuck him.
He's a piece of shit.
He is.
And I hope he goes to prison. And someone sticks the key in his ignition. If you know what I'm saying.
Jeez, Patrick.
I hate him.
Stuck the key in his ignition?
Fuck that nigga.
I know, but Jesus. No, I feel you. And I just feel like there's no winners in this. It was so sad. I almost, the only reason I watched it so I can have an educated take to talk about it. It was hard to watch.
Yeah, I didn't make it through all of it.
I was like, I can't watch this. This is terrible. And so it was just difficult. And I just hope that this is one thing that I did kind of come to the conclusion of. They had to put all this damning evidence for maybe us to at least finally wake up and be like, we can't support. Because even as of last year, people were buying tickets to his concert. Mm-hmm. Still.
The scary part is I don't know where it's going to go from here.
Yeah.
Jada Pinkett Smith had a really interesting video. She just did a quick rant that said basically what I was thinking. She was just like, I just heard that R. Kelly's music is spiking right now. So it's like, I don't choose to believe that this means that, black women don't matter or women don't matter. I refuse to believe that, and I hope that's not the case. But we know now. We've been new, but we know now. And my last point is I hope that the Boondocks doesn't come true. That episode where he was being tried and everybody was like, man, shut up, play his music, you know what I mean? And that's literally what happened. Like how Simpsons be predicting stuff, like I feel like Boondocks be predicting shit in black culture, and I really hope that that's not the case. To talk to your other point, which I think is also interesting, can you separate can you compartmentalize music and the person? Right. I feel like I always thought I could until Kanye. And I also think it's situational. I also think it's situational because in the beginning of all that stuff, when he was just saying crazy stuff and everybody was like, man, I'm off Kanye, he's wild and stuff like that, I could compartmentalize. I was like, he's
just doing what Kanye does.
He's just doing some crazy stuff. Right. There's been a lot of stuff like that, And when it gets too far, and I believe that if I was an R. Kelly fan, this is obviously too far, then it's just like, you can't. I don't think there's a separation. Like there's obviously there shouldn't be. You in an interview is not necessarily the same as a song, but it's the same person. And it's like when allegations or whatever comes out, and it's just like what? Like I had to stop listening to X. You know what I mean? X was my favorite. And once those real like when it actually came out, I was just like, I can't. So. I feel like it's situational. It depends.
It has to be, and it's just such a difficult thing because a lot of the people that I've looked up to in my life are being accused of terrible things. So it's a lot of it now. Like Kevin Spacey, if you would have asked me a year ago, was one of my favorite actors. He's dope.
Okay.
He is dope. Like I think what was it? American Beauty? One of my favorite movies. And it's just like I will watch that a couple times a year. Now I feel like I can't watch that was one of the movies that made me want to write. Like it inspired me. Like when I heard Trapped in the Closet for the first time, I was just like, Jesus, he's good. At least the first 5 chapters. After that, he was just like, what are you doing? He had midgets coming under the sink. It was crazy. But I've just been inspired by a lot of people that now are being accused of terrible. I mean, the Cosby Show is one of my favorite shows. I feel like
Cosby canceled.
So it's like we're canceling, but
I can't watch that show.
But I get it. So it's just like a lot. But you have to understand, it's the Cosby Show. R. Kelly. It's a lot. X.
Hey, you know who's sitting in the middle? Like he's like right on the fence.
Who?
Louis C.K. Louis C.K. He's always been my favorite stand-up. He's a genius, and he didn't really like assault anybody. He did some weird shit that I don't agree with.
Right.
And he's a strange person, and I don't think he should be jerking off
in front of
women.
You?
If he dropped a special, I'd feel out the first 5 minutes.
Whoa. But you know he's been accused of some pretty
He's never sexual assault, right?
I mean, you gotta dig into it. I think he like closed the door and some
traumatizing stuff. I don't think he actually like assaulted anybody.
So you're just saying that it needs to just be levels.
I heard Sarah Silverman said she was like, yeah, he did it in front of me. I was just like, yeah, just finish, but you're weird. Like she like let him do it.
But you're weird. Hurry up.
So I mean, obviously, I feel for all those people who went through that. But he's on the fence for me. If something came out where he was just like, you know, going a little too far, I'm canceling.
I guess we have to find out the parameters of when we cancel people.
It's tough. I think
because Kanye's been canceled and he ain't committed no crimes. I feel like he's an asshole. But I canceled him pretty easy.
What was the last straw?
The slavery thing.
That's a pretty big
I thought that was disrespectful.
I mean,
it's not a crime to say something like that.
Like that wasn't a popular
Well,
opinion.
no, but I'm just saying that
I personally thought that was disrespectful.
But when you compare him just being a nigga that just runs his mouth towards niggas who are doing real crimes against victims.
No, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how can I detach that quickly? But it takes all of this for me to stop listening.
And everybody would be a liar if they said that they stopped listening to rappers who had domestic cases.
Then you almost got to stop listening to everybody. If you really think about it, like, and I don't want to like start throwing people under the bus, but people from Dr. Dre, it's a lot of
That's
people.
The worst part, and it's easy to point the finger and be like, y'all still listening to him? But it's like, what y'all listen to last?
Right, like, so I think that's the fine line and just trying to figure out where do you find the balance.
It's tough. My playlist looked like a damn lineup. It's all criminals on the playlist.
So yeah, but
I just wanted to move on real quick.
Yeah, I'm okay
because
with that. We don't got to talk about that shit no more.
This is kind of along the same lines of canceling people. So on New Year's Eve, Tiffany Haddish bombed a stand-up performance.
She did,
and people immediately jumped down her throat. People were saying, "Oh, I told you she's not funny. Cat Williams was right.
No,
she's never been funny. She's never been stand up." And it really showed me like how people are almost waiting to do that.
I hate that, and
they're waiting for it.
It's fucked up. First of all, you got to understand all artists are very sensitive people. If they're not sensitive people, they're sensitive about their art.
Right.
First of all, it is very fucking difficult. I'm nowhere nearly on her level. She is a superstar. I'm a nigga coming up in the game. I've been booed in front of 4,000 people.
Believe it?
You bitch ass nigga. And it's like you have to just understand the psychology of it's you. There's no other form of entertainment that's that nerve-wracking. Like, even if you're a rapper, you got the music, you got your niggas. You
go up there and it's
you by yourself. Make us laugh. People you've never met in your life. And so we're all going to have fucking bad days at the office.
And here's the other thing. She got drunk and forgot.
And it's like,
she wasn't going through her set and it wasn't hitting. She forgot it.
And it's just like, you got to also understand, like, she's going through a lot of changes in her life. Her life is changing quickly in front of her.
I did a post about this on my social media, and it got a good response. I think that people nowadays expect like more perfectionism and consistency from entertainers than they do from themselves and the people around them. It's crazy because it's like rappers will have a smooth decade where they're just hot. They drop one bad album, or bad is you just didn't rock with it. You know what I mean? And then their day ones or their hardcore fans are just like, man, he fell off. Oh, I want the old one. Blah 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 blah. It's like they're waiting. Even when they enjoy the entertainer, they're like waiting for a slip up. And it's I feel like that's like some deeply instinctual like insecurity thing that everybody lives with. And it's really fucked up. And the worst part is that she's been in movies. Like, maybe she just hasn't been doing stand-up like that.
And how can she even get around to being able to build a set? Like, you know how hard it is. You've done stand-up. I've done, like, it's hard to actually come up with 45 minutes to an hour. That can take you in upwards of 2 years, to be honest.
That's what I'm saying.
And so for motherfuckers, and that's my thing. I'm not saying you can't have an opinion. I'm not saying that you got to be Tiffany Haddish's #1 fan, but nigga, just leave it at that. Like, even if you just don't like the show, like, yo, I seen her show, I wasn't really rocking with it. Cool, but then they go and do the extra shit, like she ain't funny. That I have a strong distaste in my mouth for that. Like, I don't like that.
Honestly, it shouldn't have been an article. The headline was enough. Tiffany Haddish bombed on New Year's Eve. That's it.
And that shouldn't have it shouldn't have even been a fucking article. Like, motherfuckers bomb all the time.
It was a New Year's Eve event. Paid.
People bomb all the time.
Yeah, but that's a headline. If you're a journalist, you gonna write about something.
You gotta write something. Right. It's clickbait.
She bombed, but at the same time, it's like all that extra stuff ain't necessary.
And then they start fucking with her slogan, talking about she not ready. I was like, you motherfuckers. It's
pretty funny though.
As I hate it when it's funny, but I feel like it's rude. Shout out to Tiffany Haddish. She's a great fucking comic. Right. She's a great girl. Great woman. I mean, call her girl.
A great person.
Girl. Great person. Good energy. That's the thing I don't like. Do that shit to the fucking assholes, man. Tiffany ain't out here talking shit about nobody. She ain't out here trying to ridicule or demean it. She's just out here working her ass off. And all you suckers can do is talk about it. I'll block you.
Yeah, people will hate you no matter what you do.
Right.
If you do this,
I mean, I hate you for your hair choices, but we can still sit across from each other.
You wore that chain thinking this was just an audio only podcast,
I did,
but there's a camera.
To my chagrin.
So we have to see all of this.
I feel you.
All right, next topic. The Drake curse. It's looking like Drake is the new Lil B of sports.
He got to stop rooting for people.
So explain what the Drake curse is.
Okay, Drake curse is if Drake roots for your team or an athlete of any sort, once he publicly endorses them,
it's over.
They start losing.
Just like Lil B.
Lil B. So Serena Williams, he started rocking with her. She started losing. Alabama is the most recent the most recent people that he endorsed. The Raptors, they always getting booted out once he started endorsing them. And then even I think Kentucky was losing. Oh, then Conor McGregor. Remember Conor McGregor was knocking everybody out. Once Drake put his arm around him, he got tapped out. I don't want to fight no more.
I wonder if this extends past sports. Like, what if we found out that, like, every rapper he endorses, like, I haven't heard from Block Boy JB in a minute.
I haven't. Where is I Love McConaughey?
That's what I'm saying.
What happened to I Love McConaughey?
Keep Drake away from you. he low-key probably purple devil emoji'd all these people. That's what that means. Maybe that's the curse.
Yeah.
It all stems from the purple devil emoji.
It's just something about when he says, yeah, these are my guys, I'm going to start getting washed.
That's what I'm saying.
Alabama got whooped on.
He hugged Kanye, and then Kanye was like, wait a minute. And then he
Twitter fingers are activated.
He put on that MAGA hat, and then he said slavery is a choice.
Yeah.
And now he's...
He used to have the magic touch. I mean, a shout out to Drake. Drake is everybody knows Drake's my favorite rapper, so there will be no Drake slander on my watch. But
not with his groupie here.
Oh, I'm a groupie now.
That's what I'm saying.
You have a handkerchief on your head, and you're a grown man, and it's sky blue.
You want to blow Drake.
Wow. That's just how you go just...
And then you're going to get the Drake curse. And then ADD's going to be out of here. You're going to get hit with that purple devil emoji.
I think that there might be something to this Drake curse, though. I think that maybe he should distance himself from the people he likes.
From all sports.
Yeah. Because, I mean,
no more jerseys.
Yeah.
No more jerseys, Drake.
Yeah, no more jerseys, Drake. Come on, man. Just keep giving us the fire. Scorpion as a classic. Don't you ever say it's not a classic. I'll fight you on camera.
Damn, I was just breathing.
Okay. Yeah, that way.
Now, if coaches were smart, they would get Drake to talk to their enemies. Like how coaches used to send players to watch practice. They should send Drake to watch practice. Go over there. And all Drake needs to be like is, nice jumper, LeBron.
And then they trash. You right. There might be something.
Sprained ACL as soon as he said that. I got a sprained Drake. All right, next up, Nicki versus Meek Mills. Nicki is back in the headlines talking about Meek.
Let me talk about this because this is starting to be a thing.
Not rocking with Nicki?
No. And it's just, I don't feel like it's and don't get me wrong. Like,
what happened?
Okay. First of all, let's talk about the Meek Mill. The Meek Mill is the latest of things that she's done that I don't like. She was on stage at a show, and maybe we can cut to the footage.
I don't think we're going to do that.
We don't cut to the footage? Okay, cool. We ain't got the budget for that. All right, cool. So let me just tell you what happened. You can look it up. She was in her concert, and she was performing that song, the Dreams of Mess, where she was talking like name dropping everybody.
I don't listen.
When it came to the Meek Mill part, where she said, Meek Mill be in my DMs, da-da-da-da-da-da.
Is this a new song?
No, it's the song that she did on her album with Dreams of fucking...
Right. But this is before she was with Meek or after?
What do you mean?
I don't follow the barbs.
Okay, so the song is off her latest album, so clearly it's after she broke up with him.
Got it.
And then when it came to the part where she name checked him, she like stops the beat and like, I could tell the nigga dirty secrets, but I ain't a bitter bitch. This is the problem that I have with Nicki Minaj, that I rarely hear about her anymore for the music. I hear about her. She says I'm not a bitter bitch, but some of the things that she has done are salty. They're bitter. The Travis Scott thing, like,
listen,
bro, I just, man.
No one summed up Nicki Minaj better than Childish Gambino. In the Summertime video, you remember the animation thing where he's just walking around and he's just looking at the rap game and they're like kids and stuff like that? Nicki Minaj was building something with Travis, and like, I guess Travis like built a piece and it all knocked down and Nicki started crying. And that was like, it was like.
I don't understand. Wait.
So basically, they were like little kids.
Okay.
And basically what it was talking about was at the time that he dropped that video, Travis Scott was going crazy. Astroworld had just dropped, and then Nicki dropped, and she peaked at number 2 because Astroworld was just holding that number 1 spot. Okay. And that's when she started doing the whole like, man, it's because of the merch thing. He cheated and started like kind of like.
Oh, I haven't even seen that video. I need to watch
and Travis didn't even respond. He was just she was just like making herself look dumb. So like that whole scene in the Childish Gambino thing was just like almost like making her look like a toddler that was upset that Travis like knocked her little building over.
Childish Gambino. Can we call Childish Gambino undefeated? I feel like he just don't do stuff that ain't good. Outside of that Star Wars movie, people had some mixed reviews.
He was good in that though,
but the movie was just trash.
Yeah,
I just feel like he just wins a lot.
He does. He didn't start that way. I look up to Childish Gambino because he was very like transparent in how he blew up. Like his first, he said that when he first started rapping and he did that like Carrots, he did that Freaks and Geeks video where he was just running around and jumping around. Okay. He was just like, I was just trying to be Drake on that album. Like I didn't really know how to rap. I was basically a Drake ripoff. I had a gimmick like a pink hoodie.
Oh wow.
And he was just like saying like, I was trash at first and I had to like develop. And you could see his sound. I didn't really like his sound at first, but once because the internet hit, he started like finding somewhat of a way. But then when that Redbone hit, then he was just like he hit, and then he was just like, you know what? I'm woke now.
and that was
he
a
grew
crazy
his
thing.
afro out.
That was the crazy thing because even when you and I had talked, because I guess was he doing Coachella this year?
Yeah.
And so when he did, I guess I'm just ignorant. I'm like, what are you just gonna keep doing them 2 songs? Because all I know is This Is America with the shoulder roll.
I had like 3005.
Right, and then that's when you told me, you were like, no, I think you and Ibai, one of the other homies at all different. Like,
niggas
no, he
didn't start listening until Redbone.
Right.
3005 to 2005. Hold up. That was 4 white people at festivals.
Did he sound like that when he said it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I like it if he sounded like that.
Yeah. Okay. 2005. Hold up. And he was like in a carnival with a teddy bear that was like, I don't remember the video like that.
Okay, cool. Let me ask you this though: is it safe to say that the Redbone song sounds like another song? I don't know what song it is. What song does that sound like? Say woke. It just sounds like. Am I tripping or does that sound like something else? I don't know what song it sounds like. Dun, dun, like something, right?
No, that is something else.
It sounds like something else. But shout out to Childish Gambino. I didn't mean for us to go on a tangent like that. But back to
that's dope. It is something.
It is something else, and I always think that when I hear it. But back to the lecture at hand. Nicki Minaj.
Back to the lecture at hand.
That's when Snoop said that back in the day. He don't love them. I don't know. Listen.
Oh, he did say that.
He did.
Back to the lecture at hand. I didn't know he said lecture.
You know, when I was in high school, this is totally off the topic. When I was
didn't he say lesson?
Huh?
Did he say back to the lesson at hand?
Lecture.
He said
back
lecture?
to the lesson. Maybe we could have one of our producers look that up. I'd rather be with you. Oh my God!
Oh,
sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Jesus.
Wow.
I'd rather be with you.
I'd rather be. Yeah. Oh my God. That's the same song.
Damn, and they accused him of ripping off This Is America too.
From who? Oh, from another guy.
That English guy, but his version is whack. It was like, I'm young and I'm black in America. I'm talking in America. In America. Childish saw that and was like,
your reenactments of people are funny to me.
This is America. Don't catch you slipping up.
Bruh, that I'd rather be with you.
Yeah, there's a lot, like you were just telling me that new Chris Brown song.
It was
Undecided.
It's a song. It was I Like Your Smile. I had thought it was CeCe Peniston, but it was somebody else.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it was a whole nother song.
Yeah. I love that song. I'm Undecided.
Just, man. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a resurgence.
A revamp, if you will.
I don't even know if I use that word.
That's all good. But back to Nicki Minaj and why I have been kind of losing it for her. I think she's such a good artist, and I just don't prefer to have all of the extra rah-rah from her. It's like now I didn't like how she handled the whole Cardi thing. I thought when she started doing her radio show, it started to become real shock jockish to me. And I'm just like, nigga, I really like you, man. And I just wish that you wouldn't do these things. Just be dope.
You know what's crazy? I feel like some people are better off without social media. Like some artists.
Say that one more time.
Some people are better off without social media because music is their sweet spot or whatever they do. And we're huge fans of them if we just interpret who they are through that. And then it's like social media, they post themselves in interviews, and then it's like we really learn who they are, and we're like, ew.
Right.
It's almost like how Bone Thugs, like,
you talking about when Busy Bone was loading the musket?
Yeah, Busy Bone had the musket, and
you ain't the only nigga with guns.
And Lazy Bones dropped that track, and everybody was like, nah, and he was like, well, we can fight though. Like, yeah, it was just like some people are just better off without social media.
I have a theory about what you just said, which is why I had you repeat that. I feel like social media has eliminated the gap between the people that we idolize and look up to. Because, like I said,
some people are too accessible.
Exactly. Because when Kanye is no different today than he was in 2005. The world was just different. No, he's the same loudmouth nigga who just says shit for attention. He was doing that back on when he did the George Bush don't like black people. Just Twitter wasn't around. So he had been searching for hot topics. Not hot topics, but like that knee-jerk reaction from people. And now when you give a person a phone, there's no filter. There's no PR person to stop you. Then we can see who you really are. We don't always like what we see.
Yeah, it seems like his first strategy was to do his rants on stage. Remember, he was just doing those consciousness things. Right. Then he was like, wait a minute. I got a Twitter phone. Yes.
that social media is the worst thing. That probably costs, I probably would not, no exaggeration, I believe social media has probably cost Kanye over $100 million. Just because of his earning potential. I don't know how to
measure that stat.
I know, but just he was getting money. He's still probably getting money, but it's like his brand is just so tarnished now. Like, who even wants to?
I would still wear Yeezys.
Why? See, really?
I can compartmentalize those two things.
What, fashion?
Fashion.
So if R.Kelly designed windbreakers.
No, yeah, you're right. Okay. No. Low-key, as soon as I said that, I was like, no, Patrick. Because, I remember when the whole thing with like, wasn't it Ralph Lauren? No, or Polo. No, I'm talking about when all those designers are racist, really. We just find out one by one.
I heard Tommy Hilfiger was racist.
I heard Gucci didn't fuck with black people. And it's
Gucci?
Like, yeah, who else is putting on for Gucci?
Really?
You know what I mean? Real quick, though, for the Nicki Minaj thing, I think that everybody's kind of like focused on the negatives of Nicki. There are no positives.
I was about to say, where are the positives?
I didn't mean to say that.
Point out the positives.
People are saying like, oh, she's just hating on Cardi. Like, and I think that the main thing that people should be like talking about, and maybe she'll get wind of it, is like Nicki missed a huge opportunity. And what I think when I'm saying that is like female rappers have always been in a category of female rappers. Like, when is the last time you've ever heard somebody like
Side note, you should say woman because people get offended when you say female.
Really?
Yes. Women get offended if you use the term female. I've heard that from several people now.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's really a thing. They don't like
women rappers?
Just women rappers. Right. I'm just trying to protect you.
I mean, I'm okay with either.
Got you.
So women rappers, I've never heard somebody like, yo, Foxy Brown or Jay-Z go. You know what I mean? Like it's always, they're always compared within themselves.
Exactly.
And it's always been a thing where every time a new female rapper came on the scene, it was automatically a beef. I don't even know if they started it or if the fans started it, and they're just like, oh, who's better, blah, blah, blah. Right. And it's like, Nicki was on top of the world at the time.
For a hot 8 years.
If she had done what Drake is really good at, and Drake will see who's hot, get a feature with them.
Align with them.
You know what I mean? He aligns with them, and he kind of like, even though Drake is clearly the hottest rapper on the planet, he still keeps his brand fresh by like, he's keeping himself in with
what's hot, and a lot of times he's broken people's careers.
Nicki could have,
in a good way.
Nicki could have been Cardi's like friend.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like two women in the industry, she could have like brought them on that level, and they could have like killed together. But now they're just like enhancing this whole
and it doesn't even
women on women beef. You know what I mean?
This is my take on this whole thing. This is how I truly believe that it happened. Nicki was on top, like you said. She was a queen of rap for a long time. Cool. Then there was this point, which it's inevitable. Everybody's going to cool off. I learned this very, very young. Very, very, very young. I think I was maybe 7 when I learned the importance of this. Nobody cares how... Shut up. Nobody cares how you win. Nobody cares. Everybody watches how you lose. I always took that with me.
You learned that at 7?
At 7 years old. Everybody watches how you lose. I think I was like crying or something after I lost the game. And I remember coach just telling me, like, everybody's watching now. Like, when you lose, when you have adversity, that's when your true character, because that's when people are really looking. Because everybody can just be on a popping champagne and, we won.
That's actually great
But
advice
when you lose,
for a
people
child.
are looking at you. How are you going to react? And she failed that test miserably.
Mm-hmm.
She started having a loss. You should have just been hey, I'm happy for number 2. Shout out to Travis. Maybe I get on a remix of one of them records so I can feel like you could have played this so differently.
She was so on top, she couldn't accept number 2. And that's how we saw it.
So
we
now
we
see how you lose. It's like,
because we would have been, I feel like the most hardcore Nicki Minaj fans would have still been like, cool. Like if she was like, number 2, we did it, y'all.
Right.
I don't know what she calls her fans, Minaj's. But like
Barb's.
Minaj's, okay. Barb's like, we did it, y'all. And we would have been like, well, not we, but they would have been just like, oh, number 2 for sure.
Exactly.
Astroworld was a great project.
Good.
Yeah.
And that's
she just melted.
And see, that's the thing that people don't understand. Just like we were just talking about earlier. I love how Tiffany lost. When she lost, she didn't make excuses. She didn't blame the audience. She didn't say nothing. Tiffany Haddish. She didn't say nothing about nobody. She just said, I had an off night. Mm-hmm. I had some drinks with my fans. This won't happen again. I love that because you lost respectfully. Don't be a jerk when you lose because everybody, you know what I'm saying? That people have been seeing you win for so long. Mm-hmm. It's almost like we discredit your wins when you don't lose right.
That's
Learn
why
how to lose.
I'm waiting. I have a theory that is going to happen in 2020, but I'm not sure. I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm waiting for the day that Beyonce finally figures out that she's a rapper. Beyonce has bars, and the rap game needs
They got to be shuttering.
Beyonce,
her husband is home.
Become a rapper.
Say it again.
Beyonce, the rap game needs you. Every time you dip into rap, you have the best verse on the song.
Your husband is Hove.
Your husband is Hove. That might be why she's not doing it. That might be why she's not all the way committing.
No, you just cracked my head. If Beyonce came out with a rap album,
Rihanna, if she switched out, Rihanna can rap too, but Kendrick wrote all her raps that I like.
Did he write Lemonade?
I don't know anything.
Lemonade was hard.
I don't know anything.
Okay.
But I just know that if Beyonce just said, you know what, just for 1 year, 6 months, I'm going to be a rapper. I'll maybe sing on my songs, but like I'm a rapper now. The game needs her. I can't think of one negative headline she's ever had.
Patrick, you might be missing your calling. Like that is a great.
My calling.
I am very rarely impressed by what people say, and I'm like, you're absolutely right.
I make cool stuff by myself, but my calling is just suggesting cool shit to other people.
You're a very collaborative player.
If I was just in the room with Beyonce, I don't need to make nothing else. If I could just throw her that, hey, you should be a rapper. And if I just leave.
And she has so much swag.
That's what I'm saying. And she carries herself so well. Any female with talent who gets in the game is on. Beyonce would handle that the exact opposite as Nicki.
You know what I just realized about Beyonce? I've never heard Beyonce say a negative thing about anybody.
And she probably does it. She just keeps it to herself. Because you know she don't like Kim Kardashian.
And she's been famous since what, 98?
She's been famous since she was like 14.
So she's been famous for 20 years, and I've never heard her speak disparagingly about anybody.
I don't know about a bunch of baby daddies.
None of that.
I don't even know about other boyfriends. The only other person that surfaced was that nigga who went to her with
her
prom.
Yeah. And that was probably his life golden achievement. And nigga, you fucked that up.
Oh, man. He probably fucked up too. All right, I guarantee he did some dumb stuff.
You got to be kicking yourself in the ass.
Imagine he cheated and ended up
he cheated on her?
No, I don't know. I don't know. Okay. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Don't put me on the internet for the Bayhive.
The Bayhive is Beehive.
Whatever. I can say Bay all the time. I get in trouble for that. Right. But if you can imagine he cheated on her with a girl and then ended up staying with that girl. And then Destiny's Child came out.
See, and I'm glad you brought that up. Ladies, let this be a lesson to you. Every lady that ever curved me, I'm going to be somebody one day.
You would
should
spin
not
this about you.
Have done this to your boy. So let Beyonce be the watermarker for what you should do.
Don't have Beyonce regret by dumping DoBoy.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Jesus Christ.
You're going to be sitting with that other nigga like, look at Doe. He is that nigga. And that's my New Year's resolution. Let's talk about that real quick. Let's go off topic real quick. You got any New Year's resolutions? This is our first podcast, and it's at the beginning of the year.
You know what? I probably have my best New Year's resolution this year than ever.
What is it?
Because I feel like New Year's resolutions is like Halloween for me. It always like catches, like I don't plan it. And
Whoa. How is New Year's resolutions like Halloween?
Because both of them are holidays that I don't think about till 2 or like a day before. And I'm like, oh, damn, I don't got a costume. Same with New Year's. I'm like, oh, damn.
Bullshit-ass closet you got. You feel like you got a bunch of shit that can be used as a costume.
That's why I always do something last minute. But same thing with resolutions. I'm like, oh, I don't have a resolution this year. Okay, no more Sprite. Like it's always something stupid.
Something stupid, right?
But this year, I have a really, really good one, and it's I want to start doing coach thinking. I'm calling it coach thinking, and what that means is I learned that the voice in our head is 9 times out of 10 a negative influence. Like it's super weird. Like in our heads, we'd be like, no, don't do that. It's not good enough. Or like, don't do that. You can't. Blah 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 blah. And when I talk to other people, it seems like they do that too. Because for sure, I killed so many of my ideas, didn't do so many things, and it's like I almost wonder like how would life be if the voice in your head was like a coach? You know what I mean? It was like instead of just like
you're dropping some bars.
That's
episode,
what I'm saying.
Patrick.
Like,
okay.
Imagine the voice in your head was like, put that video out, man. That shit is fire. Fuck all that. Or like, man, do that. That shit is funny. Or like, drop that video. That's the hot, like, but like overly like, man, nigga, that's the hottest song. We don't ever talk to ourselves like that.
No, and that's the thing. Like that's actually really great. I'm actually really proud of your New Year's resolution. And that's the thing that I have actually been saying lately, that self-talk is probably the most important conversation you can have.
Yeah.
So that's like what I've started telling myself like that. I mean, as far as my New Year's resolution, I told myself I want to have the body of Michael B. Jordan by the end of the year. Mm-hmm. So, regardless of
this year?
This year.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I'm about 115 pounds away from that.
You're about 115 years away
Shut
from
up,
that.
you stupido. But what I like about what you said is just that, you know what I mean? I break that down and compartmentalize it into daily things that I can do. And one thing that I said I would do this year is not start anything that I'm not going to finish and not say anything that I'm not going to do. So if I say it, it has to happen. So it makes me police the things I say so much more, because if I say that I'm going to do it, I'm doing it. I've had a reputation as a flake at times or whatever. That's going to end. If I say it, I'm going to do it. So then it makes the real estate of the things that I say so much more important, because now I'm not going to put myself out, because I know if I say it, we're going to do it.
That's a good one.
So that's kind of
it's funny. Like I was like just like that in college. I started a million things. I'm kind of still like that, but I'm just more aware of it now. Mm-hmm. And a professor told me something that was really, really a bar. He basically said that the worst enemy of ambitious people is their ambition. And what that basically means is like we love starting things. We love creating things. That's way more fun. So you'll start 40 things and then look up and be like, damn, I didn't finish those first 2 things. I just have
40 open cases.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that finishing, if that's your only goal is to finish things, you're gonna start shit. You know what I mean? But if you're more focused on finishing, then you're less likely to just be like, oh, this is dope. Be like, no, wait, hold up, let me finish this.
There's a lot of truth to what you just said, because like if you guys don't know, I just finished my EP. It's called This EP Ain't It, Chief, and I was working on it all last year, and it was just. You kind of get caught up in the thank you. You get caught up in all the other stuff that you're doing, and I told myself, I'm like, I'm not doing this. I need to finish. I put the amount of songs that I want to do, and I made sure that I finished. And
you did
finished. And I feel so good.
New Year's resolutions, you're getting them done, and it's only January something.
I got a New Year's resolution for you. Get a fade. Okay. Now, you know what I'm saying? Or taper.
Do you want to catch a fade? All right. Well, that was a pretty positive note, considering we started out on surviving R.Kelly.
But before we get out, I want to talk about one of the random topics that we had, because it's very, very important to me.
Okay.
Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night, fully clothed in the shower with it running, crying about the thought of this.
Okay.
Do mermaids exist? Now, let me tell you why.
Open up this wormhole.
Okay, because we only have a few minutes left, and this is why I feel so strongly about it. I'm a dork. I know that you look at me, you be like, "Oh, DoBoy is the life of the party. He's always out."
No one does that.
You don't think that?
No one does that.
Okay, cool. But I be at the house a lot of time on YouTube, and so I've got to really just seeing a little different.
That's
stuff.
what you do at home?
Me, yeah. I used to get drunk all the time, but I haven't drank in over.
We have some scripts waiting, and you over here looking up mermaids on YouTube.
That's how I get inspired. Shut up. But anyway, there's over 80% of the ocean that is uninhibited. You cannot tell.
That was the wrong word and the wrong stat.
Was it?
Yeah.
What is it? What's the percentage?
First of all, the word you're looking for is uninhabited.
That's what I said.
The place you're looking for is the gym. And what the stat you're looking for is 80% of the ocean is unexplored. We haven't seen most of it.
So you mean, I believe that not only are there mermaids, there's dinosaurs down there.
Okay, you got me with that one. I actually do think that whatever killed the dinosaurs, whether it be a meteor or something, did not affect the lowest levels of the ocean. Mm-hmm. So I think whatever was down there back then might still be down there. So can a Tyrannosaurus Rex breathe underwater now? I think he can. Oh man, see, it's like you head towards good points, and then you completely U-turn.
If there's dinosaurs underwater, they got to be able to breathe under there.
A T-Rex is
It's a what?
It's a land dinosaur.
So what kind of dinosaurs are under there?
It would just be a completely different.
Wait, there was water
species.
dinosaurs?
Yes.
I knew about the air ones; those are pterodactyls, and I knew about the ground ones. But there's one that be in the water.
All right.
Stegosaurus can't live in the water.
I'm gonna tell you this. I probably shouldn't,
Okay.
but this is gonna be like a whole thing for you at home.
Oh baby,
CP told me about this.
Okay.
There's a whole conspiracy black hole about dinosaurs that are still around, not water, like here. There's places in like Pennsylvania and stuff where there's like constant pterodactyl sightings. And if you look it up, like there are photos like
don't play with me, Patrick.
I'm serious.
My weekend is gonna be this.
Yes, there's photos, and I'm gonna tell you guys too. Look this up. There's like photos of like Civil War dudes posing with like a dead pterodactyl, and there's like video footage of people who like the same amount of people who think that Bigfoot exists. There's like pockets of the world that they say there's still like dinosaurs, maybe through like a portals or something like that.
Do you think that the pilots in airplanes see them and they just don't say nothing?
I personally don't care if any of this is real because it doesn't affect my life. I just like feeding into this stuff. Like I'll watch a Bigfoot documentary knowing it's bullshit. I think it's just funny to see. It's no different than watching Harry Potter.
But that's what piqued my interest on the mermaids, because there was one on the Discovery Channel a couple years back, and they actually showed the actual mermaid. He hit the glass,
you know what was dope about that?
Oh my God, I seen him. He's
ugly. You know
ugly.
what was dope about that? And you should look this up. They had a whole fake documentary that when it dropped, they didn't say it was fake, but it was basically like a documentary saying like we caught mermaids. It's a real
That's
thing.
What I'm talking about.
Yeah, and it was like they were showing different footage.
Mm-hmm.
I watched that and my mind was blown for like 4 days, and then they were just like, oh,
I couldn't even go swimming after that.
But
I wouldn't even get in a pool.
I used to think sharks were in a pool too. But
You were stupid.
but yeah, it's wild because like after that 4 days, I was like, damn, I spent 4 days of my life like knowing that mermaids was like an actual thing, and I was just like, man, that was fun. I don't care if it was fake. Like,
I
was
think
fun
that
to
it's
think
real, but this is the thing. I don't believe they're as pretty as Ariel. It's the Little Mermaid.
See what I'm saying?
I think they're ugly
about
and
you
ghoulish.
going towards a point and then losing it.
I think that there are mermaids. I just think that they're really ugly, and they don't have light.
Yes.
So you be ugly if
They're
you don't
not
have light.
redheaded white women
You
with
don't
big
have a lot of light
titties
in your life, huh?
on the
'Cause you
bottom
ugly.
of the ocean.
They don't get no sunlight, so they probably look real. Because like every year they find new species, right?
They probably look closer to Ursula. without the Fashion Nova dress.
And I doubt they sing it. They just so I really think that mermaids exist. Like I'm telling you, man, like my mind just be like that. Like I be wanting to know about life on other planets. I be wanting to know what's in the water, but I won't go to the gym. This is kind of where my life is.
I'm trying to start a conspiracy podcast. Would you do that?
Yeah.
Why not? So
Oh, you son of a bitch.
you're not
All
invited.
right. And on that note, that can clap it up, man. We got through our first ever podcast. Make sure, if you guys do nothing else, like the video, share the video, comment on the video, hop in the comments. Let us know if you have questions, stuff you want us to talk about. Whatever.
The internet is undefeated podcast. DoBoy, Patrick Cloud. Yeah.
That was your pitch that you were talking about? It's a no for me, dog.
Like I said, whether you like it or not, doesn't matter.
I don't.
I'm putting it up on the board.
Okay.
Every episode, I'm doing a different musical intro.
You be a volume shooter. Eventually, something will stick to the wall.
Will stick.
I have been DoBoy.
I have been Patrick Cloud.
This has been The Internet is Undefeated. Tap in with your boys.
Hey, next week.
Yo, we got to go find one of these mermaids and fish for it. And
you just gonna make a fillet? All right, guys, thank you so much for watching The Internet is Undefeated. We will be doing this on the channel every single week, so stay tuned. And make sure you guys follow us on Spotify, SoundCloud, and iTunes. We out.